Hello and welcome to another video. This is the Elm Bathtub. We've got a game for you today called Project Wunderwaffe Prologue. Wunderwaffe is the German for wonder weapon. It's all sort of based in World War II. I have a quick read through on Steam for you. Project Wunderwaffe Prologue is some part of the full version of the game. The gameplay starts in the realities of World War II. The Soviets and Allies are coming. Your task in the game is to keep enemy troops as far away from your base as possible. Fight and survive. So this is of course the prologue. It's the pre-release version effectively of the game. It's free at the moment on Steam, but anything that you see here in this video is based on how everything is at the moment, but of course things could certainly change in the later releases and the full version of the game. So this game is, or should very much be, right up my street. It's set in World War II, which is an interest of mine, so what's not to like? Certainly from reading the description and looking at some of the screenshots and videos of the game, I think this is going to be my cup of tea. So the game starts and you are thrown straight into effectively a bunker scenario, but without any of the bunker built. So you've got the top level, so you've got the entrance of the bunker, but nothing more. You have a basic warehouse, which is where all of your goods are stored, and a train depot where the train will occasionally come in and dump stuff off. Materials and whatnot. So you have to start by building various rooms like a command center, research rooms, and basic electricity generation rooms and water rooms to fulfill everything else that's going to go on in your bunker. Tutorial aside, because it is quite basic, I actually quite like being left to my own devices with this. I like being able to work it out myself, and there was a bit of a learning curve knowing where you can and can't place things. It's not obvious at all at the beginning, so you just have to try and error certain things. Visually, it's very basic. It's a grid system in terms of the soil and ground that you can dig your structures into, so you utilize that kind of thing. Within the soil and ground structure, there are certain minerals and elements: uranium, gold, iron, copper, coal, stone. Excuse me if I've forgotten anything. But eventually you have to mine these out and use them for different things. What you find out when you build the control room is that the end goal, or aim at least, is to stop 3 fronts from getting near your bunker. So in the map you will see the eastern front, which is where the Russians are pushing forward, or the Soviets are pushing forward, which is more accurate. You've got the north west front, which is the British side moving into France, so the Normandy invasion side of things, that route. And you've also got the southwestern, which I think is coming up from Spain. You have to correct me if I'm wrong there, but that doesn't make much sense in itself, because anyway, Spain were kind of on the Axis side inadvertently, not officially, but yeah, so that bit doesn't make sense. But anyway, they're X amount of days away from your bunker, and you have to create resources within your bunker, within your structures, and give those resources to those front lines, pushing them away. So as you give them resources, you see the front lines moving further and further away. I assume, and I never got to this point, once they get to you, that's game over, until you manage to create this wonder weapon to destroy everyone. Never got that far. The thing is, with the time scale, working full time and being a dad as well, I don't get to play games for 20 hours and then review them. I play for a couple and a half hours to 5 hours, I say. So sometimes I don't get to complete the games, but I've definitely got a handle on this game completely as to what it's about and whether or not it's any good. It is an excellent idea for a game. I love the idea of trying to work through what is a pretty good technology tree, I must say. The way you can unlock things, the things you can unlock, you build up from very basic things to warehouses to living quarters, those sort of things all the way. And if you follow the tree up, you can see what's available. You end up being able to build nuclear weapons and missiles within your structure. So it is really good in that sense. It is a bit weird though that you have to unlock things before you can unlock the main thing. So for example, you have to unlock warehouses before you can unlock a warehouse structure, if that makes sense. So you have to unlock the preliminary thing that lets you unlock the thing itself that is useful. So that's a bit strange. Rather than just letting you unlock the building that gives you certain things, you've got to do a preliminary unlock for certain things, and that struck me even as slightly strange. There is a massive lack of animations in the rooms. You can build quite a fair different structures and rooms within your system as you unlock them. So there's loads and loads and loads of things, but the animations in them are very dead and bland. There's not much going on in them. You might see people in them, but they don't do very much. And where there are people, they look very confused. For example, there's a workers' quarters, and you see the workers in their room, and they're just literally running around bumping into things like, I don't know, they're just crazy people. And this is a bit similar to that game I did on that car industry game, or car manufacture game, just people running around like headless chickens in a room. So some real strange animations in certain senses and lack of any detail. So it was very much sort of dead rooms, really. Nothing's happening in them. It's quite boring. I think they could have worked quite a bit on that. The upgrades to existing structures, so for example mines, you can upgrade them via certain materials, and you hover over the upgrade button, tells you what you need to upgrade it. Fine. Doesn't tell you what you get from it, doesn't tell you what increased percentage of production you might have from any of these upgrades that you can do. And this is upgrade for any building. It doesn't give you the implication of upgrading. What's the benefit? No idea whatsoever on that front. So quite particularly strange. That needs to be worked on, definitely. I find the camera controls a little bit clunky as well, so it's sad, or you can use your mouse to move around by moving it to the edge of the screen, but it moves in fits and starts, and it's not performance on my machine, I can guarantee that. You can speed the game up, and then when you slow it down, it kind of gets a bit stuck, and you can't move around the bunker at all. It's a little bit clunky, I would say. It's not hideous, but it's a bit clunky. I would then say on the upgrade thing I mentioned just before that, you can upgrade your tunnels. So you start off with a basic tunnel, which is excavated areas, and you can upgrade them just by clicking on each square. As I said earlier, everything's sort of segmented into grid tiles. You click on one, and bear in mind you don't actually know what you clicked on. So you click on a segment of tunnel, it doesn't highlight or anything. You've got no idea what the hell you just clicked on. But you can only do one at a time. You want to be able to drag your mouse over a whole tunnel area and upgrade the whole lot. You don't want to dick about. And there was so much dicking about. It was unbelievable. I just gave up. I was like, what's the pissing point in upgrading my tunnel? It didn't say what you get from it. And it seemed to be free, though, to upgrade your tunnel. So a bit pointless in that sense as well. But no benefit other than aesthetically. But you couldn't do it en masse, so lots of dicking about. Wasn't too pleased with that at all. Those are really just the only negative points that I feel that are worth mentioning, that should be mentioned in a prologue edition of a game. Now, there is a lot to be positive about with this. One is a fairly unique context to a game, so there's loads that can be done with this, and if they take things on board, it could be really, really good. I really like the way that you can explore basically a humongous area, and with all these different minerals, and you can mine them and everything. So there's so much that you can do, and I think it's generated differently each time you play as well. So the way you design everything is entirely up to you. You can have elevators, tunnels, buildings in whatever positions you want them within certain rules. Obviously, for a mine has to be on top of a resource, but it gives you a lot of freedom. And I think, as I said right at the beginning, the tech tree is that good. As long as it's fine-tuned slightly, the way you work through that, once you get good production lines going, you will have the ability to create all these brilliant weapons, brilliant materials that you can send off and hopefully push the enemy back and you survive another day kind of thing. And then you end up, hopefully, with all of these wonder weapons, because they had all these weird UFOs and all of these V weapons, the Vengeance weapons and stuff. So there's going to be loads of stuff you can get out of this, and you can probably have a different game each time because of the way you want to design your bunker. On the different room side, where you design your bunker, and obviously you're going to have all these different sections and rooms going on, occasionally you get a sabotage effort. Now, they need to sort this out because this genuinely pissed me off. There's sometimes a warning that flashes up on your screen, sabotage in progress or something. Oh, okay, so it says you have to stop the sabotage. So you're like, okay, well, how do I know what's being sabotaged and by who and whatever? The room that's being sabotaged is bloody well flashing red. So what do you do? Okay, well, that's obviously the one that's being sabotaged. Thanks for telling me. You click on the room. Nothing's going on in the room, by the way, because the animations are crap, as mentioned a bit earlier. So you just click on the room and then click Stop Sabotage. Yeah, okay, so that's what the Germans did in World War II. They just hit a button that said stop the sabotage. They didn't do anything else, did they? They didn't send in any troops to get their revenge on the saboteurs or anything like that. But a bizarre mechanic. Please work on that, developers. Please, 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 please. This is a good game. I can probably have many more hours playing this as it is, and still enjoy just working my way through the tech tree and building all the different resources within the structures that you eventually unlock. There's a lot to do, but I think if they get these things right, it would actually be a superb game when it gets released. So it's one to keep an eye on, because there's some really good aspects of it. Another thing that's probably just in the prologue, you can't save the game, but I'm not going to say that's a massive criticism, because I suspect that's just a feature of the freebie that we're playing. But yeah, there's so much potential here, and I'm still enjoying it. I know what it's trying to do. It's one of these things, you get what they're trying to do, and you just want to urge them to do it. And there's a lot there as a base game to enjoy. But there's so much more to come if they really want to. This could be an absolute cracker. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Take care.